Every DevOps engineer talks about Kubernetes, Docker, cloud, CI/CD pipeline. But very few people truly understand the thing connecting all of them together. That is networking. Okay. So networking is our today's topic. Without networking, applications cannot communicate with each other, or servers cannot connect, APIs cannot work, Kubernetes completely breaks. So today we are going to understand networking from very basic level using simple real life examples without a complicated technical language. And after this video, networking will finally start making sense to you. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tech Mastery with Raj. In today's video, we are starting one of the most important topics in the DevOps and Linux, that is networking fundamentals. Now many beginners think networking is very difficult, and trust me, it feels difficult. But it feels difficult only when people explain it using complicated technical terms. Today, I will try to explain everything in a very simple human language, easy to understand, and no complex theory, no confusion, just practical understanding. And this video is very important because before learning networking commands, in next few videos, of course, we are going to learn some important networking commands which are very helpful in the DevOps engineer's life. So we will learn those commands, but before learning those commands, what we will do, we will today understand networking concepts. What is networking? How it works? How systems actually communicate with each other? So watch this video till the end and you will understand networking. Now let's start from the absolute basics. What is networking? So networking means communication between computers or system. Between computers and systems. That's it. This is very easy, but not. Let's understand with the real life example. Suppose you send a message to your friend on a WhatsApp. So your phone sends data through internet and your friend receives it. That communication is networking. Or another example, suppose you open YouTube app on your mobile or YouTube website or app on your laptop and you send a request to search a particular video on YouTube servers. So YouTube server send video back to your laptop. This is communication. This is networking. So whenever systems exchange information, devices communicate with each other and applications send data, that is networking. Now in DevOps, everything depends on the communication. For example, your Jenkins is communicating with GitHub. So Jenkins pipeline is reading GitHub repo. So accessing GitHub repo. That is communication. That is through network. Or Kubernetes. Pods communicate with each other. That is networking. Or applications communicate with the database. That is networking. Suppose you have some monitoring tools. So that monitoring tool communicate with servers. So everything is networking. So if networking breaks, everything breaks. That is why networking is extremely important. Now let's understand this from real DevOps perspective. Imagine the situation, your company website suddenly stops working or users cannot log in. Your application is down and your manager asks what is the issue. The problem can be anything. It can your application issue, it can be your application issue or cloud issue or database issue or networking issue. And many times actual problem is networking. So what can be the issues? Maybe your server cannot communicate with each other, or DNS failed, or firewall blocked traffic, or internet connectivity issue happened. This is why networking knowledge is very important for the DevOps engineers. You do not need to become network engineer, but you must understand how communication works, how systems connect, where failures happen, because troubleshooting is major part of the DevOps. Now let's understand one of the most important networking term, that is IP address. Okay, so what is IP address? IP address is a unique identity of a device on network. Think about your home address. Why do we have a home address? Because courier should know where package should go, where package will be delivered, right? Same way, computers need addresses too. Otherwise, data will not know where it should go. The address, that address is very important. And that address is called IP address. Every device will have a unique IP address. So, unique address so that network can decide where data should be sent. So, IP address is a unique address of your device. Every device connected to network has IP address. For example, your laptop or your mobile phone or your cloud server, website server, all have IP addresses. Now, imagine internet is a huge city and IP address is a house number. So very simple, right? Now, one more important thing. There are two types of IP addresses. One is public IP and private IP. Now, public IP is used on the internet and private IP used inside your home or your company network. For example, your home Wi-Fi devices usually use private IPs. Okay, so this IP address concept is very important for the DevOps. So we understood that IP address is the unique address of your device. Now let's understand another very important term, that is port. So maybe beginners get confused here. Let me explain very simply. Imagine IP address is your building. Address is building and port is the apartment in that building. So inside your building there are many apartments, right? So out of those many apartments, port is one of the apartment. In building there are many apartments, so port is one apartment. Similarly, inside one server there can be many applications running. For example, your website, a Jenkins database, monitoring tool, these many applications will be running on your server. Okay, but every application will have a one port, that is your apartment. Now, how does system know which application should receive request? And that is where port come in. Port identifies applications inside the system. So remember this, IP address identifies system. Port identifies applications inside the system. This concept is extremely important for the DevOps and cloud. Okay, now in next video we will see all different types of ports in detail. What is port 8080, Jenkins, and many other ports for the web server. All sort of ports we will see in detail in the next video. Now let's understand something very interesting. That is, how does data actually travel? So suppose you open YouTube. What happens behind the scenes? So step 1, how does data travel? Now we are seeing this concept. So you open a YouTube. So what happens basically? Step 1, your laptop sends request. Then request goes to router. Okay, so what is router? Router is a device that forwards traffic. Think of router like a traffic police. Okay, so it decides where data should go. Okay, then the request travel through the internet. Okay, I am explaining it in a very simple terms. In next video we will see the complete flow in detail. Okay, so first what happened? Your laptop sends a request, then request goes to router, and router sends it forward to the internet. Okay, then it reaches to the YouTube server. YouTube will process your request. Then sends data back to your device. Okay, and all of this happens within milliseconds. Amazing, right? Now another important thing. Data is not sent as one huge block. It is divided into small pieces, and that is called packet. Okay, so this concept is very important. Data is not sent as a one huge block. It is divided into small pieces, and that is called packets. So think of packets like a small courier box. These packets travel separately through internet. Then destination system joins them together again, and this is how internet works. Okay, now next important concept is DNS, and this is very important. Okay, so what is DNS? DNS is domain name system. Now humans remember names easily. Okay, so you can remember google.com or youtube.com. This is DNS name, but computers understand IP addresses. So DNS works like a translator. It converts google.com into actual IP address. DNS works as a translator. It converts DNS into IP address. So without DNS, internet becomes very difficult, because it is difficult to remember the IP addresses, right? 172.169.2.3. Is it possible to remember these numbers for google.com? Instead of google.com, you remember this number. Instead of youtube.com, amazon.com, remembering this IP address is very difficult. So DNS is very important. So DNS is basically a phone book of internet. Okay, and this is very important concept for the DevOps troubleshooting. Okay, so DNS is domain name system. DNS works like a translator. It converts google.com into actual IP address. Okay. Now next we will see what are the common problems a DevOps engineer or network engineers face. Real world networking issues. So sometimes systems can communicate. Systems cannot communicate with each other. So what can be the issue? One is the internet problem. So there is no connectivity. So that's why system cannot communicate with each other. Second is the DNS failure. That, what does that mean? So website name cannot convert into IP address. So it will fail. Okay. Our next issue can be firewall blocking. Now think of firewall like a security guard. So firewall decides who can enter and who cannot. If firewall blocks traffic, applications stop communicating. Okay, firewall blocks traffic, so applications will stop communicating. Then wrong IP or wrong port, so request goes to wrong destination. This can be one of the problem. The next problem is application down. So your server is running, but on your server actual application has stopped. So these are extremely common issues in the production. Okay. So now what we have seen extremely or regular or on a frequently faced issues for the DevOps engineers. Okay. So today what we have understood networking is in a very simple language we have understood. So we have understood what is networking, why DevOps engineers must learn networking, what IP address means, what ports means, how data travels from one system to another system, what packets are or what is DNS, how DNS works, and we have also seen some common networking problems. And trust me, once your concepts become strong, Linux networking commands become very easy. In the next video, we will start practical networking commands used by the DevOps engineers in real environments. Okay, and what we will do, we will also learn all these concepts, each concept in detail. Today we have learned all these concepts, basic level understanding, what is DNS, what is firewall, what is port, we need to also learn protocols, we need to learn packets, DNS, IP address, in detail. Okay, so we will learn it in the next video. So don't miss that video. If you found this video useful, like the video, subscribe to Tech Mastery with Raj, comment your favorite networking topic, and share this video with anyone who is learning Linux, cloud, or DevOps. See you in the next video. Thank you.